first, I want to talk about privilege. No, not male privilege or white privilege or even white male privilege. We've heard plenty about that already. No, the real privilege in the modern era is left-wing privilege, and you see examples of it every single day. Criticise a left-wing woman and you'll be immediately labelled a misogynist, no matter how well placed and non-sexist your commentary may be. Tony Abbott can tell you all about that. Of course, conservative women are afforded no such protection. The same double standard exists for lefty people of colour. If you don't like Adam Goode's divisive political posturing, then you're obviously racist. If you don't like Israel Folau's divisive political posturing, then you're not just entitled to your opinion, but also entitled to demand Folau lose his livelihood. Don't fall for the Orwellian rewriting of history. Before Goodes was booed by football fans, he was given the honour of being named Australian of the Year. And then he proceeded to tell Australians to, and I quote, "Remember whose lands you're on, and that the Constitution is very, very racist." If you want to see real, overt examples of racism, then have a look at the abuse black conservatives cop from the tolerant left, who seem to believe that they own minority groups. Warren Mundine and Jacinta Price regularly receive the most despicably racist abuse imaginable from people who pretend to care about justice and equality. So-called progressives don't have much tolerance for minorities who stray from the leftist plantation. The centre-right may be good at winning elections. They rule in the US, the UK, and have won 7 of the last 9 federal elections in Australia. But weak conservatives have given up ground to the left in the culture wars, and the left's march through the institutions is all but complete. They dominate academia, media, and popular culture. They frame the narrative and tell the story on their terms. Imagine for a second what sort of media coverage you'd see right now if the New South Wales Premier was Labor, while Victoria was led by a Liberal. Gladys Berejiklian would be elevated to heroine status, way, way above St Jacinda Ardern. Gladys would be celebrated far and wide as an example of why female leadership is superior in every way to that offered by mediocre white males who rise to power despite limited ability. Queen Gladys memes would flood the internet, and there'd be glowing media profiles on the daughter of Armenian migrants who has managed to keep her state safe while simultaneously reopening the economy and carrying the heaviest burden by taking more overseas arrivals than any other state. Dan Andrews would not only be endlessly mocked, but his many failures and sense of entitlement would be linked to his toxic white male privilege. There'd be no "I stand with Dan" hashtags or cringe-worthy love letters published in The Age. Instead, they'd be calling out his condescending and often hostile treatment of female journalists who dare ask tough questions. They may even wonder why the only person who's lost their job during this catastrophe is a female minister, when a male minister, Martin Bakula, it was his department who selected the security companies and signed the contracts. But he continues to enjoy the Premier's full support. Oh yes, if Dan Andrews wasn't a beneficiary of leftist privilege, the media would be asking if he has a problem with women who have the courage to stand up to him.